Alright, welcome back. So this time I'm going to actually click record on on my capture software so that I, record the Switch game that I was intending to record in the first place. Alright, anyway, looks like we have found an opponent. And, oh, what a unique looking team. And they don't have restricteds, but they are up here, so yeah, we will not take them lightly. They definitely have some interesting gimmicks there. The Alomolola, whatever that thing, the pink fish over there. The pink fish is most likely carrying wide guard. It's probably an assault vest. Archaludon, Ursaluna should never be underestimated. High Garchomp, and of all things, the cat can actually set up Trick Room. So yeah, that's a very gimmicky looking team. It definitely looks like there's a lot of potential for it to do gimmicky things. And yeah, let's get to it. I think step number one here. Oh, I don't know. There's that part of me that really wants to bring Urshifu. I like Urshifu quite a lot. I kind of also want to bring Grimmsnarl for the screens. So many screens. I think, however, we are just going to go with... I want to do Calyrex Urshifu, followed by Toothless and Kadeta. So, the thought process here is that if they do in fact go for Trick Room, because their team does look very Trick Room-ish, that having Kadeta in the back, she actually, she's specifically built to be able to underspeed lowest possible speed Ursaluna. And by extension, that's also going to underspeed Calyrex Ice Rider, that's also going to underspeed Iron Hands. In general, it just makes her very effective at dealing with those Pokemon inside of a Trick Room situation. Alright, well, hello friend. We are going to spend the Terra this time on our good friend Calyrex, because he has a Grass Terra and he's also carrying Seed Bomb, so Seed Bomb is going to hurt. And they're two water types over there. I'm expecting a Wide Guard plus something. Not really sure what the Quagsire is going to do. There's a lot of things that it can do, but yeah, not really sure the direction that he's going to go. We'll find out here momentarily, though, I suspect. Alright. There's our lovely Grass-type restricted. Actually, now that I think about it, there really aren't a whole lot of Grass-type restricteds, and by that I mean none. There's one or two Grass Mythicals, but I don't know if there are any Grass-type restricteds. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, so the Grass-type restricted that we don't have... Oh, it lived it! Lived it at one? Oh, Toxic Spikes. Well, that's kind of rude, Quagsire. Why would you do that? We're gonna Seed Bomb the Quagsire now, and we could blow the Alomolola. So, having done a little bit of experimentation with a non-restricted team in a restricted format, you have to get set up, and the biggest trouble with trying to get set up in a circumstance like this is that if the restricted team just sits there and clicks damage into your team, they have the potential of just rolling you so very, very hard. Like in that circumstance, I mean, the Quagsire is a bulky Pokemon. Like, Quagsire can take some hits, and Calyrex, he just doesn't care. And now he's stronger than he used to be. It's a leftovers Archaludon. That's great. That means that its special defense is going to be lacking. So if Miraidon ever hits the field, one Dragon Pulse later, and we most likely don't have Archaludon anymore. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing to look at, but basically, with this particular team, if you do happen to see an opposing team that is... I'm going to say, oh, regenerate. That's fascinating. I didn't realize Alomolola. That the pink fish. I didn't realize the pink fish had regenerated. But basically, if you find yourself in a situation where you just where you can freely click the damaging moves, it is very okay with this team and most other teams to simply lead really aggressively with a couple of Pokemon that will do a lot of damage and just attempt to overwhelm your opponent through sheer damage. Like, the Alamola is not in great shape. He was not able to reset my Calyrex's attack stat. My Urshifu doesn't care about the Breaking Swipe because I'm just clicking Wicked Blow at the moment. And yeah, like the Archaludon is not going to be able to take, or the Archaludon's not really going to be able to take more damage that continues like this. Yes, it can finish off my Urshifu with the Body Press, but then, like I said, we're looking at Miraidon to finish it off because, yeah, I've turned it into a physical wall. That's why you make sure you always include at least one special attacker. At least that's my personal thought. Special attacker or guaranteed critical hit. Alamola is going Terra Poison. Makes sense. That's a good option. Okay. Like, a lot of respect to my opponent for running their team like they are. I mean, they obviously have them trained really, really well. And they definitely are, I would say, very stall inclined, which is cool. But, you know, there comes a point at which, you know, there's only so much that they can do. For instance, even though the Archaludon is at a lot of defense, if we simply switch our targeting, the Urshifu with Unseen Fist is just going to go straight through the Alamola's Protect, and the Calyrex at +1 with the Seed Bomb, even though it's resisted, is still probably going to pick up the KO on the Archaludon, even with the resist and all of the defense stat boosts that it has. So the general problem is that when you're running a purely non-restricted team into a restricted meta, you have a very difficult time keeping up with the damage output. Okay, that's impressive. That is a bulky Archaludon. Way to go. Like, genuinely. But, not to get too caught up in that. At this point, we can just, once again, switch the targeting back. Garchomp. Hello, Garchomp. Ooh. Yeah, so Garchomp is probably not super happy to see this particular situation either. They've already spent their Terra. The Calyrex Ice Rider is now Calyrex Grass Rider. And so is going to resist any ground-type attacks that the Garchomp throws out. The Archaludon is going down to another shot from the Urshifu. The Garchomp, well, assuming that the Urshifu does get to hit, the Garchomp actually can fairly handily outrun the Urshifu. But then Glacial Lance comes out. So, you know, it's... Hey, look at that! It did! Alright. But yeah, again, that's why if you have a guaranteed critical hit move, you just keep spamming that until things go away. Alright, so here comes the Glacial Lance. And there goes the Garchomp. Alright, well, thank you to my opponent. Solid game. Yeah, that is, though, the trouble of taking non-restricteds into a restricted meta. I did it for a couple of games. It was unfortunately more painful than I would have liked it to be, but yeah. Alright, and welcome back. Now this looks to be a spicy game. So yeah, we've got... we have a very solid team on the opposing side with plenty of gimmicks. Looking at looking at our side of the field. Okay, so things to be aware of. First off, they honestly have a pretty decently safe lead in the Smeargle/Rillaboom combination, as that provides them with the ability to overwrite my terrain immediately, which can't say that I'm a huge fan of that. So we're gonna lead with Calyrex and No, I don't. Nope. Not going to lead with Kadeta. I think we're going to lead Calyrex Urshifu. And then follow with those two. So the thought process here is that we can immediately go for the Terra on the Calyrex. Which will allow me to get around the probable Spore. Is most likely I anticipate what they will do if they lead with Rillaboom. And if they lead with Rillaboom Smeargle, which I have run into before as a potential lead from their side, like that, what that does is that punishes the... yeah, so that punishes a Miraidon lead really, really hard because they can just fake out and Spore the Miraidon slot very safely. And so instead, what we're going to do here... Actually, I don't even know if I need to... No, I think we're actually just going to Glacial Lance and switch in the Miraidon. So the thought process behind this is that that'll put up the electric terrain, which will block the Spore from the Smeargle, should the Smeargle go for the Spore. It'll preserve the Focus Sash on the Urshifu, which is very important for dealing with the Calyrex that they inevitably have in the back. And possibly necessary for dealing with Zamazenta as well. Switching in Miraidon in the first turn, and putting up the electric terrain, shutting off the Spore option, means that we don't have to immediately commit the Terra on Calyrex, which is actually a really, really good thing. Because as much as going for the immediate Grass-type Terra is definitely an option, it's still not ideal. Yep, okay, so that forces them into that sort of play, which ultimately is a much better option for our team as a whole. Because now, sure, they can go for, depending on what sort of boosts their Smeargle gets, sure, they can bring Rillaboom back in and then go for a Spore, but they no longer have a fake-out turn on the Smeargle or the Rillaboom because the U-turned out. That also works. I am I am totally cool to roll with that as a possibility here. So the other thing that does is that confirms for me that it is absolutely worth my time. Oh, his speed fell. What a poor little baby. Okay, so we're going to... what do I want to do here? Probably going to drop a Draco Meteor into the Miraidon slot if I was going to guess. Do I want to take a Draco Meteor? Well, okay, so he's either going to drop a Draco Meteor or he's just going to switch back into Rillaboom. We're going to bring a Rockrunnit in because of all the things on my side, by far, I think she is most capable of just kind of tanking her way through a couple of turns of sleep if needed. So this also confirms, by the way, that they do not have their second restricted. So the question is, did they bring Zamazenta, or did they bring, what's its face? Calyrex. The other Calyrex. Oh, they are spending their Terra. Okay. Not what I was anticipating, but I guess they're probably going for a Fairy Terra on that guy. Nope, an Electric Terra. Woo! Spicy! What do I think that is? Do I think that's an Assault Vest? Yeah. Yes, actually, I do think that's an Assault Vest. It's either Assault Vest or Life Orb at this point. And the reason that I think that is because if it was Booster Energy, we would have seen the Booster Energy go off. If it... Okay, it's just going Thunderbolt into Calyrex, Grass Terra, tanking it like a champ. Look at that guy. Decorate. Oh, that's scary. But here comes the Glacial Lance. So the Glacial Lance is going to do a lot of damage. Love to see the Glacial Lance come out like that. Let's see what the Smeargle does. Attack raises sharply. Spear... Yeah, boys! Speed falls. Okay. That's actually a very, very good thing. Okay, so we're going to Glacial Lance, and... Can't say that I love this situation, but, you know, we're going to do what we need to do. Which at the moment is we need to get through the +2 Raging Bolt, who can definitely do some damage to the Calyrex, but I'm going to count on my opponent to either outplay themselves by thinking that I'm just going to protect the Calyrex, or... yeah. Or otherwise, I'm not really sure where we're going. Yeah, so we'll see what they decide to do. But in this case, damage is the option, even though I am on the lower end of the speed tier. Follow me, that's cool, that's neat. Calyrex does move before Kadeta, so like that'll be fine. They're going with the Thunderbolt. Let's see what they're Thunderbolting. They are Thunderbolting the Araquanid. That inclines me to think that their last Pokemon is going to be their Calyrex. They got a critical hit. It was not necessary. Like, yeah, it was definitely not necessary. So here's the Glacial Lance. Bop! That is much better. Much better. Okay. And so Calyrex is now at +1. Smeargle is gone. We're going to go into Urshifu. And the reason we're going into Urshifu is because I want to see if they bring out Rillaboom next. Zamazenta! That's the sort of thing that we want to see. You might say, why did we want to see the Zamazenta? Well, we actually wanted to see the Zamazenta for a couple of reasons. Not the least of which is Sucker Punch, yeah! So, Sucker Punch, because Urshifu is faster than Raging Bolt, and we're not in a Trick Room, Sucker Punch will actually move before even a Thunderclap, and allow you to Sucker Punch it. Actually won my last game of the last set of Milwaukee Regionals that I was in, which was just A1 Swiss, but it gave me a 5-3 record. Won it because I was in a situation like this against a Raging Bolt, where I Sucker Punched his Thunderclap. Sucker Punched his Thunderclap to win the Mind Game, and ultimately end up getting through the... just kind of getting through the day as a whole on 1 HP. It was quite hilarious, but... Alright, so in this circumstance, I'm actually kind of inclined to say he's probably gonna... Is he gonna switch? I feel like he's gonna switch. Okay, so we're very much in the mind game department at this point. I don't want to lose Urshifu, but I also really don't want to let that thing get another attack off. I think we're going to cover for it. We're going to cover for Raging Bolt. Oh, he just goes for a double protect. Okay. But they didn't wide guard, so Calyrex is going to pick up the KO here with the Glacial Lance. Yep, so that was a case of mind games all around. It will mean that they get their terrain on their Rillaboom, but honestly, that is okay. Partly because it does boost Calyrex's thingamabob. Thingamabob, that's a technical word right there. It boosts Calyrex Seed Bomb, and because their Terra has been spent, they will need to... what do they need to do? Let's see. I think the real question is how fast do I think that... how fast do I think the dog is? Actually... Do I think he's going to... No. What do I think he's going to go after this turn? So here's the thing. We need to do some damage to the Zamazenta. Yeah, you know what? We're going to Electro Drift into the Zamazenta, just get some damage on it, and we're going to throw out a Glacial Lance, because if he doesn't go for the Wide Guard and he doesn't fake out Calyrex anticipating to protect, the Glacial Lance is going to pick up the Rillaboom. Like, this turn is a very crucial one for them to decide the direction they want to go, and how they want to try and protect their Pokemon. They go for the Fake Out. I think that means they are not going for the Wide Guard. There's the Body Press. Miraidon lives it because he is a tank. Here comes the Glacial Lance. That'll be no more Rillaboom. Bop! Bye-bye! We now have a +3 Calyrex Ice Rider on the field. Zamazenta, Wide Guard, don't care. Or at least that's how this Calyrex is rolling. Oh, man. Okay. We're in a very interesting position. At this point, Glacial Lance is... It's strong, but Seed Bomb gets the additional benefit of the of the terrain boost. They go for the body press. Yep, they pick up the Miraidon. KO, not terribly surprised. Calyrex gets to swing first into the Zamazenta. We'll see how much this does. +3 Terra Grass Seed Bomb. Yeah, it's resisted. That was disappointing. That dog is so bulky, man. Oh, Zamazenta. Anyway, the Slapfest. Hilariously, said Slapfest would not even be possible. Oh, hey, that's funny. Okay. So yeah, I'm mentally running some calculations. Seed Bomb base 80 power, you get Terra Grass gives it an additional 40, and I think you get an extra 30%. You know, Glacial Lance still probably does more damage. Interestingly. Okay, they body press. Ooh! That did like a lot. Well, no, that not like a lot. That did a lot. Oh! Oh! The critical hit. Okay. Well, it's always rough to lose a game to a critical hit. Nice to win a game to a critical hit. But wow, what a close game. Way to go to my opponent. That was phenomenal. Yeah, so there you go. Hope you enjoyed today's, or hope you enjoyed this particular video. And yeah, look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a fantastic day.